All right, so we got another one here that's going to focus on countering that anterior dominance. Remember, we talked about sitting all the time, doing everything in front of us. All those muscles in front start to get shortened. Particularly right now, we're talking about the psoas. The psoas muscle, the cheap hip flexor, coming off your lower lumbar segments, attaching to another muscle coming off your pelvis and forming the iliopsoas, attaching into the top of the femur. That allows us to flex the femur right there. But as you imagine, if I'm sitting all the time, they're just going to get shorter and shorter and shorter. So we want to work on ways to mobilize that. We have done tons of stuff on that with various lunges, various lunge techniques actually over on the One Body site, the AP lunge, the active lunge, progressions in a regular lunge where we added more and more and more. This time we're going to combine that. We're going to combine the lunge. We're going to combine, not the lunge, excuse me, we're going to combine some of that anterior front side mobilization, the psoas, and the quad, namely the proximal quad right here. We're going to combine that. We're going to combine that, making these things more functional. So hopefully you can do the basic ones, and then we start to marry some of them to make them even more full body so you get more bang for your buck, more efficient movement. This one we're going to combine with a short foot activation. So go ahead and double back and check that one out as well. Remember, when we're doing balancing, especially in a stand-up position, when we're doing some mobilization, those feet need to be strong, and those feet need to be creating that balance. That's the only thing touching the ground. Otherwise, we're kind of flailing, moving around. It's also a balance act with the rest of the body. That's a recipe for injury. So we want to make sure that's on point. Short foot activation, you can go ahead and check that one out. And the 10-way hips. 10-way hips, that incorporated the short foot activation, but then also just some gentle movements with the other side, just some gentle movements with the other leg using those hip muscles. So we want to make sure we have that down. You have that down, let's progress to this. So we come into this position. We're looking to flex, remember, the quad, this muscle right here, proximal quad's up here. Come down the iliopsoas. We're talking about the hip flexors. We're talking about lengthening them so we can stand more straight up. There's less tension on our lower back, less tension on our pelvis. You go into this one, just stand and foot. You have to know the short foot activation. I'm going to engage short foot activation on my left side, this side right here. Engage the short foot activation. I go through that middle mental exercise, which becomes easier and easier with repetition. That's in place. I'm going to slowly reach down and pull my leg up. I'm going to pull my leg up into as much knee flexion as I can get. I'm going to stand there. You see I'm not falling side to side. I'm not falling down. If you can't do that, you got to work on this. You got to work on the balance first, the short foot activation and your balance. So as we hold this there, I'm going to stand up straight. I'm not going to lean forward. I'm going to stand up straight, my arms at my side. You're feeling this whole area open up. If you want to add a little bit more to it, as I have to keep re-engage that short foot activation right there. Arm up over the head. Arm up over the head. You can see it opens up this whole area. Arm up over the head. Now we can bring in some of that diaphragmatic breathing. Arm up over the head, abdominal breathing. As I breathe down, the diaphragm goes down, fills up my abdomen. When I breathe out, diaphragm goes up, empties out the abdomen. And that's when you can really sink into some of the lengthening you're getting in that tissue. You hold it right here, hold it right above you. There's other derivations you can obviously make to this. You can go into a little bit of a half moon lean. That'll get your lat involved, your QL involved, so it's really a good full body socialization. You can also, remember this from yoga, start to lean forward a little bit. Keeping the torso neutral. Hip not flexed, not extended, just neutral. And you start to come forward. Forward, I'm calling myself out now. Can I see the foot come back up behind my head? Behind me, can I see it? Can I see it? It's tougher than I thought. Putting myself on the table there. That was rough, but at the same time, we did it. We bring it down. Want to see what it looks like from the side? Remember, short foot activation. If you need to use the same side arm to bring the leg up, it's easier. You can. But just see there's a little imbalance then. Because everything, your foot's planted on the left side, and I got this arm out on the left side, well, everything's going on the right side. So you almost start to shift. If you want to keep things balanced, you want to try to use the opposite arm from the leg that you're lifting. So I bring this up, I come to here, and that's what it looks like from the side. I'm standing up straight, short foot activation, I'm holding this. I can bring the arm up, I can go to the side, I can start to lean forward, you start to feel it. You can start to fire that glute a little bit. Fire that glute, this glute right here, and I'm concurrently firing the glute, activating the glute, and also, while stretching this, the quad and the psoas, the hip flexors, I'm also incorporating that reciprocal inhibition we talked about. By firing the hip flexor, I'm relaxing this. So I'm relaxing it via the muscle, the neurologically, but I'm also relaxing it and lengthening it via stretching. So that's another one you can add right there. Short foot activation down. If you're working on your balance, you got to, no matter how old you are, no matter what activity you do, You need to be balanced, especially if you're starting to age, so work on this. If you're older or the balance is rough, do it by the wall. Cool. Work on that short foot activation. Be able to do a single leg balance. Be able to hold that. Check out the 10-way hips. You start to be able to move your hip around. Circumduction. I love this one. From there, go ahead. It's okay to have the wall right there. Bring it up and hold it. That's okay. You can start like this. But really concentrating. I'm thinking about that right foot on the ground. And then slowly, see how many seconds you can start to implement of just holding that puppy up. Holding that puppy up, gripping the ground with the other foot, enables me to come up here and move through various ranges of motion. Quad, hip flexor, anterior dominance, gotta combat it. Another technique for you, starting from the ground up, but lengthening that whole body. Good luck.